Hello everybody, Keith Jackson speaking. Welcome to the preparation stage of my deflasking of some dendrobiums, which I'll continue with later in the video. What I'm trying to do first is prepare the plant pots to take them and I prepare the propagator that they're going to sit in, with the hope that when I've done that, and I can leave them overnight and let the temperatures in the propagator and in the pots and everything equalise, come up to room temperature where the flask has been kept since I bought it last weekend from Peter Seaton, who's the famous author and orchid expert. And I'll do that then, but I thought if I did it first, it would give a chance to do it, and I can record how I'm going to do it. This is the first time I've ever tried to grow orchids from a flask, and it's he said that they're idiot proof, and there is no doubt whatsoever in my mind that they will need to be idiot proof if I'm going to have any great success with them. I really hope that I've not sort of dropped myself well into it. So what I'm going to do, I'll show you in a second the bottom of the propagator tray, but I'm going to start off with some, three perfectly normal pots. That's an orchid pot which I've got. These are just conventional plastic pots, and I'm going to put a good layer. This is just ceiling tile, and I want to get a good layer in the bottom because I want the layer of compost. This is a seedling mix from Burnham orchids. I want that to be relatively shallow. I don't want to have a lot of the medium not actually getting roots penetrated into it. Now some of these roots are quite long in the flask. How they will transfer I have no idea. We'll have to wait and see. I'll record more videos until I'm reasonably happy. I know what I've done, at least if it all goes pear-shaped in the worst case scenario, that I shall be able to highlight what I did wrong, and then I can have another go at some stage in the future and hopefully have a better result. Now the mix I'm going to be using, I should say, get my tenses right, is from Burnham's. It's their seedling and pliony mix, which is a mixture of very small bark, perlite and peat. Now Peter Seaton recommended a similar mix but using moss instead of peat, and I would think that the effect is going to be very similar. So that's got a reasonable layer of expanded polystyrene in the bottom of these pots. They're all looking very much the same, I think. So using this clear one, I don't want them too big, I don't want them to be unable to cover, but I do want them to freely drain, so there's no risk of moisture getting trapped, any moisture getting trapped in the bottom of the pot, because although I want high humidity, I don't necessarily want these things to be sitting in water. So That's the first trick. Now this stuff really is very small. I don't know how well you can see that, but it really is extremely small bark. So let's just put some in here. Don't need to pack it down just yet. Okay, well that's all the bark, the seedling mix rather, put into the pots. I kept it below the level of the top of the pot. I don't want to have it too high. I'm not sure that's, or see how I go, perhaps more with these later on. Now then, let's move that out of the way for a second. Bring this in. Right. This is, yes, just about. This is a proprietary propagator, which I've, same as the pots, they were washed and cleaned with a spray that's sold for use with baby things, so hopefully that will mean that it's as clean as I can get it. We've got no mould release agents or anything like that in there. Now in here I've got old aquarium gravel. This has been used in aquaria, but not for many years. This is some I've had sitting in my fish house for over a decade, I'm sure. So yes, it would have had bacteria on, nitrifying bacteria once upon a time, but they will be long dead, and it's been rinsed in tap water, which is obviously got bactericides in it, and there is a little bit of tap water in there just to keep it moist. The next thing I'm going to do is get some rainwater and pour it into the pots, so the pots, which are going to sit in here like this, turn it round so I can work with it better, get it like that, and then you must move. That's right, you can see, because I can't see that black against the black. It's the old black cat in a coal cellar job again. Okay, water. I have some rainwater which I shall need to get, so just excuse me for a second. Okay, back again. This is rainwater, and I'm going to just trickle it over this compost. I don't want it too wet. It's certainly very free draining, which is good. I just want to put some on, see it go down and work its way through. And I'll use this clear pot to give me an idea of how it's doing, whether I've got any dry spots. There we go, it's not looking too bad. I think that's likely to even itself out overnight. That's another part of the idea, that let everything go there. So now I may have a little bit too much water in there as it stands, but I'm going to leave it as it is. I don't think it's going to matter ever so much, because I don't think it can wick in there, and I can always find something to lift them out of the out of the gravel. In fact, I've got some little plant pot sources which I can put in upside down, of course, and that should do the job of stopping them getting waterlogged, but let them enjoy the humidity. Like that. So they're actually out of the water. Okay, so that then is the lid. That's the job done. The top of the lid, as you can see, has a vent which can be opened to various degrees. Now, as I understand it, because these seedlings have had 100% humidity for the last 2.5 years since they were planted, I've got to keep them in a humid atmosphere initially and then try and wean them off starting in about a week's time. So I need to give them the chance to acclimatise to the change and then try again to get them to acclimatise to a somewhat drier atmosphere than they've been used to. So we'll see how we go on. I'll do that sometime tomorrow and I'll start filming again. So we'll come back next time, and next time we'll have an actual play with the flask, and isn't that going to be fun, boys and girls? I'm not sure. I'm going to look forward to that. Thanks for the time being. See you soon. Right, the start of day 2. Here is the flask. This is Dendrobium Hilda Poxon, and you can see there's quite a few plants in there, and there's some really nice roots showing through the bottom. Now my plan is to try and get rid of as much of this agar as I can before I start pulling the plants out. Now, I was advised to use lukewarm water, and what I'm going to do, I've got a pipette which I'm going to dribble some water into the pot so I'm not drowning anything, and I can swirl the water around, try and get a feel for what, if anything, is happening. Now I don't know whether I've got to agitate it or what, but now I've started, I've got to finish, as Mastermind would say. Now, what I wonder is the state of this stuff. Oh, it's quite, oh, it's like rubber. Ooh, right, okay. Now then. So the whole lot wants to come free. Right, okay. Here's marvellous stuff, I don't. Okay, I'm just trying to get all this out without trashing anything, because I think that's going to be the best way to do it. So there we are, that's got the plants out of the jar. There's the gel, and now I can try, oh that's a bit more successful, I can try to get rid of this stuff. Now the plants are getting a real soaking, but I've got some paper towel handy. Just felt something go crack, oh dear. There's some good roots on these. So there's one there that's gone, but I suppose an odd root going is going to be about as much as I can hope for. But that's got a majority of this stuff off. It's got to get all of it off, I believe, to try and make sure you don't carry any nasties over with it. But we'll get the easy stuff off, and then I'll come back and we'll have a further go at cleaning the various bits up that turn out to be what I've actually got. Oh, it's got a new growth on, believe it or not. Broken root, never mind. This one is well tangled. I can't make out whether this is one plant or two. We seem to have just one thing that's connecting the two, and that's no, there we are, it's separated them. Okay, so there's nothing sunk down to the bottom there. There are some good roots. These seem to have been trying to put new growth out, or even kikis on here, because there's definitely more than one plant in that little clump, but there's no way they're other than one plant with some interconnections. Now, we've got some nice new roots on that. That one's alright. That one looks like it's broken, but it hasn't actually separated, so let's try and get as much of this agar off as I can. I think that'll be alright. 3, 4, 5. I seem to have six plants, or 6 basic plants. Some of them may end up giving me more than one plant in the fullness of time. But the nice thing is there are some glorious roots and some new roots coming, so there's quite a lot of potential, I think, with these. I'll move that up a smidge so you can see a bit better. You can see on this one, look, just how great the roots are. There's not, I don't think we've got any more. That's 3 of them done. No, actually there's 7, because there's a little tiny one there that might or might not survive, I've got a feeling. This one hasn't got any leaves on, but it's got what looks a bit like a new growth. So, Isn't this going to be fun? Never mind. Dropped a root from somewhere. And another one. Oh well. Oh, the wind's getting up outside, I don't know whether you can hear that. So, nearly there. I'll be able to have a good look at what we've actually got here then. It does look like it was time for them to come out. Some of the leaves are not looking marvellous. But the roots are generally speaking pretty good. Right, okay, let's get rid of that water and get some more straight, there you go there. I'll get some more paper towel and transfer the plants over so I can dry them off. So we've got here, as you can see, 3 really big ones. One that's in between, got some nice new roots coming, bit of a clump just there with some nice roots on. That's not bad. Some roots on, and then there's a couple of bits here that I don't know. There is a little tiny piece of new growth there, so we'll see what that does. This one again quite small, not much by way of existing roots, but it has got leaves, so we'll see. Right, that's the first stage done. I'll be back in a minute and we'll start potting them up. Right, now for the nitty gritty. I was told to try and put them in together as much as you could. Well, we've got this. I'm using a pencil as a dibber, as you can probably see. But this one, the roots are holding it up quite a lot. There's really good roots here. I don't want to damage them, so I'm just going to push it down fairly gently and assume that it'll sort itself out if I leave it like that. The question is which one should I try next? Where have you gone? There we are. Because we've got this, which has just got a tiny little bit of thing, but it's got great roots on it. So I don't hold out any great hopes for this, but I think with a bit of luck, and these roots and this new growth, if I can keep that above the soil and not obstruct it, that we should be able to get it in. Looks like I might have to put a bit more of the compost in this pot, which is no problem. Just need watering a bit more, but yeah, that wants a bit more compost in, that does, because I can't get that down any further with the length of those roots, and I certainly don't want to trim anything. Oh dear me, you really are delicate little beasts. Right, that's the first one. I don't know what to do now because we've got another little tiny thing here. I don't know, you can see that. It's got one big root, several small roots, but there are 3 or 4 growing tips in that. So I think I'm going to put this in here as well, and that'll give me 4 decent sized ones that I can put in the 2 pots that I've still got to play with. So I'll put that root down there, which will stabilise it, I hope, and then it can sort of sort itself out in there. So that's the first one done. Number 2. Well, this one has got some nice roots. It's got a new growth just there. Very curious how these plants do. In fact, there's seem to be 2 points of growth here. So I don't know if that's typical of the way these things go. Like sheaths as they do, but anyway, we've got quite a lot of root, we've got quite a nice top, so I'll start off by putting that in there. Now then, these roots are a lot longer than I actually bargained for. I knew they'd got a good root system, but I didn't think it was quite this good. And again, I'm going to have to put some more medium in there to help these along. This one got a branching root there. You've got at least 2 points of growth, 3 in fact on that one. So that leaves me with another 2 to go in here. Now this one I suspect is going to be the trickiest. It's an odd little thing, it's got a lot of roots, it's got a lot, and I do mean a lot, of points of growth on it. So that's a lovely healthy little plant. I really hope I can persuade it to do things for me. It's probably as good as you're ever going to see, I suspect. And then we've got this one, another one. We've got, to my surprise, we've actually got a couple of tiny little pseudobulbs. I always understood they didn't produce pseudobulbs at this size, but we've got pseudobulbs, we've got roots, coming out of here, there and everywhere, so I think it's going to have to be looked after very carefully. This is so. How am I going to look after you, I wonder? Because again, these are going to want some big spaces for these big roots. Right, me get some more compost organised, I think. Because they're all going to need it. Just have to run a little bit more water through it, I think. That's kind of potted them up. I'll have to go over them again in a bit and make sure I've got as much of this stuff off the top of the plant as I can. Just like there, I'm going to start burying leaves if I'm not very careful. Ease that one up so it's not a lot lower than its mate, and then that'll be better. And finally this one. Oh, it's going to be an interesting exercise over the next few months, I guess, as I try and get these little plants onto the next stage of their lives. Now, I've managed to bury one of them all together here, so I'll have to come up and be redone. Try and blow what I can out of off the leaves, but I think it's to some extent a foregone conclusion that that's what it's going to get. Okay then. Everybody happy at that? Yes, I think so. So, after all that work, we have this one with 2 in. This one with 3 in. I don't know whether they're all going to survive, but all we can do is wait and see. And then another couple of quite nice big plantlets in there. So I'm going to now put them into the propagator after I give them a little bit more water, and then that will be it until we just see how everything goes. So thank you for watching. I hope you found it interesting. If you realise that I've made a complete foul up of something, please let me know as soon as possible so I can rectify it before everything dies. But I'm hoping that I'm going to get at least one of these to go. Thanks a lot. Bye.